Hello there. I'm going to be talking about masks because I like making masks, and this is actually going to be sort of a part one kind of video. I'm going to be talking about all the masks of Jason Voorhees, like my favorite character of all time. You've probably seen many videos I've done, edits, stop motion figures, mask making. Yeah, that's basically what I'm just going to be talking about. They're all going to be all displayed on this mannequin head that I've had for years. I like to throw around, dressing them up, pretending that they're another human, so I can just. And yeah, that's basically what we're going to be talking about this entire time. Let's go! Now, the first mask I want to talk about is the part 3 mask that I made. This is actually the first mask that I've ever made for myself. I made this ages ago, back in like 2023, so like 3 years ago. This is my favourite mask of all time. It's always really been my favourite. I love the chevrons. I like all the damage I've done. When I made this, I wasn't really the best at mask making, so I didn't add any like dirt. This part 4 and part 6 I used spray paint for. Now I actually have two part 4s, but I'll talk about that in a minute. By the way, I'm not gonna talk about like the order of how I made these. I'm gonna be going in like movie order, and when I'm done with the like Friday the 13th the remake, I'm gonna talk about just all the other masks afterward, like games and fan films. Well, I actually haven't done any fan film ones, but I have done a few custom ones, possibly. This is probably my favourite mask of all time. Let's move on to the next one. Now, the next mask I want to talk about is Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. I remember this is actually the second Friday the 13th Part 4 mask that I made. I will be showing the first Friday the 13th Part 4 mask that I made, which was my second mask I ever did. This is a much newer one. I used acrylic paint for the base coat instead of spray paint, and it has a lot more detail than the older ones, so it's a much better mask. Also, if you notice the shape, for some reason when it goes on a head like this, it decides to like squish in a bit. That's because these masks, most of the masks that I've used are like a cheaper masks to get on Amazon, eBay, and ones like the part 3 mask, well, this one specifically, my mum bought for me from Etsy from the YouTuber Big Hush. I've mentioned him before in my mask that I made for Jason Universe. Again, a great YouTuber, love to watch his videos, go check him out. Anyway, back to this. This is the shower scene that I like to call it, and basically this is what Jason looks like in part 4 from the beginning, just before he enters the Jarvis house near the end. And speaking of the Jarvis house near the end of part 4, let's have a look at that one. Now this mask is the other part 4 mask that I made, and this one I made a lot longer ago. This is much closer to the end of part 4, since the two chevrons down here have been removed and there's more blood gushing down from the axe mark from part 3. I actually prefer how I was able to cut this chevron out though. The other one, I think I accidentally did it a bit too far in the middle, but it's not too bad. This mask is spray painted instead of acrylic paint. However, there are some areas like here, and a little bit down here where it is actually been acrylic painted. And I dry brushed some like darkish grey along the chevrons, just so you know that they were there after they were removed. And it has a lot more damage, a lot more scratches to resemble how this mask has been through a lot. And this is where Jason ends up technically dying in this movie. and part 4 is my second favourite in the franchise. I'll tell you what my favourite is. And if you know me on my channel, you probably will know what my favourite Friday the 13th film is. But anyway, moving on to part 5. Now this next mask, if you know who this is, good job for actually understanding the movies. This is Roy's mask from Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. A lot of people do not like this mask at all, or they actually do like the mask, they just do not like the movie. And I actually don't mind the movie. To be honest, every single Friday the 13th movie, in my opinion, is good except one, and I will get to that movie. Again, if you know me, you probably will know which movie is the bad one. It's like the bad seed, the bad egg, the bad whatever. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Let's move on to this mask. Oh, what the fudge. Stop that. So this mask, I like the blue chevrons. I've made them a bit darker than usual, but I actually like it that way. And I've included some blue up here to show that Roy has painted blue over there and then possibly just painted white over it, and it is like pure white. I also slightly, if I can show you here, it's like a slightly faded removed chevron down up there, and I just like that detail a lot. So I actually quite like this mask. It's not a favourite of mine, and I know these snaps are not supposed to be on there, but I was lazy back then and I just won't want to take them off because I've already lacquered all of these masks. Now this next mask is also from Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, and this is the Dream Sequence Jason mask. Now I think that this mask is pretty good. I like what I was able to do with the grey. It kind of looks like an army-ish look to me. Don't know if anyone else sees that. I used a part 3 chevron up there because I'm pretty sure that's what it looked like. There's not really much I can say about this. It's just a really good mask. And the grey is a bit like faded around the area, although you could just say that that's just dirt from rain or whatever. And it's just quite a good mask to me. But that's enough of part 5. Let's move on to the best movie in the franchise. Now this next mask is from Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. My personal favourite Friday the 13th movie, as well as everyone else's favourite that I've known. A lot of people like 4, and yeah, it's just 4 and 6 are just known as the best, which they are. 6 is my favourite, 4 is my second favourite, part 3 I'd say is my third, and then like Jason Takes Manhattan would be 4th. My 5th favourite, I don't know, probably something like, I don't know. Now this mask, I really like it. I like this a lot. The only thing I probably would want to do differently is I'd probably just want to make a brand new one, but with a wider mask, since this one and part 8 in the movies look like a massive dinner plate to me. I like the damage on the chevron as well that I've added, and it's one of the cleanest masks. There's not really any damage to it besides the axe mark and when he gets shot in the head by the sheriff, but that would be like here. But I decided to make this look more like the beginning of the movie, where he like puts his mask on, picks up the spear, and then looks at the camera, and then you have that flipping James Bond looking slice to reveal the title card. Moving on. Now here is part 7, and I actually have 2 of this mask, and I want to talk about the first one that I did, which is the lesser good one in my opinion. I like the colour that I did, but this massive gash that I did is way too big. I like the brown I did on the chevron, and something I did very sneakily, stop the glare, is that if you see right here, you can see some Roman numerals of VII, which in Roman numerals is 7, because for 13 part 7. A lot of people say that this is their favourite mask, or one of their favourites. I mean, Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th Part 7 is a favourite of mine. Kane Hodder is the best Jason, but Part 7's never really been a good film, in my opinion. It's always been one of the lower films to me. I like the Jason, I like the actor, obviously. The kills are pretty terrible because the MPAA decided to absolutely hammer this movie until the kills are basically PG-13 at that point. Not really, they're still pretty gruesome. Let's move on to the other Part 7 masks that I'd made much later on that you've probably seen a video of. Now this Part 7 mask, I kind of wanted to make it my own a little bit, to add a bit more orange around it. I also wanted to add like a bit of an outline to it. The chevron is a lot more accurate as it's much more brown, and I didn't include any Roman numerals or anything. The gash down here is a lot more accurate as well. I just really like the look of this one, and it also kind of increased my ranking on the looks of Jason's masks for this. And no, this is not going to be a ranking video. I will do another video on that another time. Probably I could do that on Friday the 13th. So be sure to wait for that one. Next mask. Now the next mask I'd like to show is Friday the 13th Part 8. Jason Takes a Boat. Jason Takes Manhattan. And I love this movie and I love this mask. This to me is my biggest guilty pleasure movie, if you like to call it that. Again, just like Part 6, this mask should technically be a lot wider, but due to the plastic of the mask, it is a bit thinner, like me. These chevrons, when I was putting them on, was an absolute goddamn pain. And I still really like this mask. If I had to do another mask with like a much more accurate look to it, and I had to make another one for it, it would have to either be Part 6 or Part 8, because I love their masks, I love their movies, and they're just great looks for Jason. Let's move on to the worst movie in the franchise. And that worst movie is Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. Obviously, it was not The Final Friday, thank fudging God. Because this movie is an absolute piece of garbage. I hate this movie. This is the worst movie I've ever seen. Not actually, Titanic is terrible. I like the blood that I was able to do. The bullet hole is at least acceptable. I don't know what the hell happened here. Just a piece of the thing had just fallen off. A big problem with this mask is when I did the gash, I didn't realise that because this has taken all of the like force. When I put it on, it looks ugly as fudge, and this thing just sticks out like a sore thumb. Just like how this movie sticks out so far from the franchise because of how garbage it is. Let's move on because now let's go from the worst Jason of all time to the best Jason of all time with Freddy vs. Jason. I have two of these masks, a clean and a battle damage. Well, clean and scratched up. I might do another Freddy vs. Jason where it's like the end where he has Freddy's head and his mask is all fudged up. And this to me is my second favourite mask. I made a video on this. I think it almost has 2,000 views, so thank you whoever watched that. Again, I just love this mask. It's so great. These chevrons I actually used a Friday the 13th Part 3 chevron template and made them a bit longer. And this one I kind of went in between a Part 6 and a Part 3. Since I'm pretty sure that's what I saw in the images, but I just like it that way. I also actually removed the snaps from the bottom chinks so the mask looks a lot more accurate, and I just decided to dry brush some brown around it so it doesn't look ugly as hell. But again, just my favourite Jason look of all time. I've reviewed the mask, I've reviewed the NECA figure. It's just the best Jason of all time for both masks. Well, possibly not mask. Part 3 is probably still the best. I'll get to that ranking another day. And so good. Now the next mask is another Freddy vs. Jason mask, and it's the scratched up mask for when Freddy and Jason first fight. Now I actually just used a knife to use these cards, and I just painted black over them because I didn't realise that my dad actually had a Dremel. I thought that we just didn't have that option at all. I like the damage that I did on the chevrons, and especially this one up here. It's just incredibly beautiful, and when you look at this mask, you immediately know who did that damage. Freddy, you son of a motherfudger. The next mask is the Friday the 13th remake. This is by far my most accurate and detailed mask that I ever did. I really liked this mask when I made it, and to me it just looks even better than the movie, to be honest. The movie itself, I'm not really a big fan of the remake. It's fine, there's better remakes, there's worse remakes. It's just in the middle of, yeah, it's good. The original's probably a bit better, but yeah, I mean, I actually kind of prefer the remake over the original. How would he say that? How dare he say that? Nah, fudge you, it's my opinion. Moving on. Now that's unfortunately the end of all the movie masks. However, luckily we still have some more masks to talk about. Now this is the Mortal Kombat X or Mortal Kombat 10 Jason mask. Now this is not really the most accurate mask I did. This is actually my second attempt of making a Jason voorhees Mortal Kombat X mask. It's the same mask, and you can only see in the background what it originally looked like, but it looked like very brown and dark. It had so much blood all over it. But then I changed it to a much more accurate-ish mask. I like the gash in here, and I ended up having to paint over the vinyl chevrons. But I actually kind of like how I had to paint over them a little bit, because then they look all messy, and it just looks kind of cool, I guess. It's not really a favourite of mine. It's probably one of my lesser favourites of the masks. It's still pretty cool. I really like it still. Let's move on. Now this next mask is the Savini Friday 13th mask from Friday 13th the game. This was my favourite game of all time, but unfortunately I'll never have the chance to play it ever again. I miss you. Please come back. I actually changed this mask. Well, I didn't change the mask. I changed the look of the mask from like the imagery that you can Google up, because on images the gashes here, these 3 gashes that you see, technically they're supposed to be black, but I actually decided to make them like silver because I wanted them to stand out. And this mask is so flippin' dusty. I've left this thing out for too long. Jesus Christ. And I also like how the black isn't like full on black. And I'm so sorry, this dust is so annoying. The tinfoil keeps falling off of the mask. Well, not the mask, the flippin' head. But yeah, I really like this mask, and it's really quite underrated for what I've done with it. I like these holes that I did as well, which is really good. So yeah, thank you Tom Savini for having this mask come out in the game. I miss you so much, Friday the 13th the game. Please come back! Now, to end off the trilogy of video game masks, this is the NES Jason Voorhees mask. I chose to make mine a little bit darker because I thought it would work better, and to me it does. And I love that I included the purple chevrons and the purple snaps. And the only thing I would change about this is probably getting some purple straps. But other than that, this mask is just amazing. Blue is my favourite colour, and purple is my second favourite colour. So having them those colours just go together is just fantastic, and I much rather have these purple chevrons on here than just leave it as a plain blue mask, because I think that would not really work that much. And it's just amazing to me. Please come back for 30th the game! Now the last two masks are the Jason Universe and the Jason Claus or Santa Voorhees. Comment down below which is better, Jason Claus or Santa Voorhees, because this is my only custom mask that I made, and it is a Christmas themed mask since it's got the two candy cane chevrons. I could have chose to turn this into like some sort of holly, but I chose not to. But I actually really like this mask a lot. It's very light. It's like a creamy, but it's also dark. It's like got black underneath. I like that a lot. I like all the scratches and all the sanding that I put on the mask. And it's just a really cool mask to me. Let's move on to the final mask then. Now this is the most controversial controversial mask of all time, since this is the Jason Universe mask. I remember everyone hating this when they first saw it, and I was not a fan of this at all. And after making the mask, I actually don't mind it. I actually just use hot glue to cover all the holes down here, the two snap buttons, and some of the others up here, and I made my own custom chevrons to use part 5 chevrons down here, flip them over, cut the end piece off so they're not as long, and this one is a full-on custom long chevron that I made, and I like this mask. I actually kind of like it. It's obviously not a favourite of mine, it's probably still very low on the list, but it's not like the worst, like Jason Goes to Hell, like that's probably the worst. But again, I'll do that ranking another time, and that is actually it for this video. Hope you liked it, and I will be making a ranking video of these masks someday, possibly Friday the 13th, but it probably will actually come out probably a lot earlier. See you then.